Hey everybody, it's Rob from Mansewing, and I got a quick tip for you. That's right, today is needle knowledge time. And now I must warn you, this is my personal opinion based on a lot of fact and a lot of experience. So here we go, and I want you to all follow along close. I'm going to try to give it to you slow, but you know I'm excited about this kind of stuff. And I'm excited because I truly believe needles are just like ice cream. That's right. We all in the textile world love our needles, so therefore we all also must love ice cream. Now when you're buying a needle like ice cream, you're getting two things: different flavors and different scoop sizes. So let's talk about what the sizing means. So here's a fun, cool, super giant needle. This does not actually fit in your sewing machine. I wish it did. Oh, and by the way, if you're watching Facebook and Instagram, you saw the cool wooden needles that were out there that I tried to carve for this shoot, but they wouldn't let them on the airplane or strapped to the wing like missiles, I guess. Anyways, moving on. So here is a needle numbering system, and often you're gonna see like 80, 12, 90, 14, 100, 16. And what that really is the 100 is the metric system and the 16 is our US standard. So you're always going to see those two sets of numbers travel together: 80 and 12, 90 and 14, and so on. Now, the bigger the numbers, the bigger the needles are going to be. The bigger the needle, the bigger the features. And the features are kind of like flavors. So let's talk about some of the parts of our needle. This is really cool stuff, actually. You wouldn't believe how much engineering goes into needles. You have on the front what is called a kerf. Now, the kerf or the front groove is where the thread lies as the needle is piercing through your project. You have the eye. Hopefully all of you have no problem threading those, right? On the back of the needle, a very cool feature here, this is called the scarf. And in the scarf, what happens is as your needle penetrates, the hook passes behind it. So that hook fits in nice and tight right there and picks up the loop of thread that forms the stitch. And then we have the eye of the needle and we have the tip of the needle. Now, needles are kind of divided. There's, gosh, I think 7 or 8 different styles of needles that I could think of off the top of my head, and they're very project specific, but I want to kind of try to teach you what the different names of needles have to offer. So let's start with a universal needle, for example. A universal needle has kind of a medium-sized eye, and the eyes come in two kinds of shapes: circles or big, long ovals. The smaller the eye, the more wear and tear on the thread. The longer the eye, the less wear and tear on the thread, right? So with the universal needle, you have kind of a medium-sized, kind of a rounded eye, and pretty much a very rounded and blunt tip. The tip of the needle penetrates the fiber. It doesn't cut the fabric, it just separates the weave. So the more aggressive the tip, the faster it penetrates the fiber, right? So let's talk about some of the bigger eye needles out there. And I'm going to try to go up in size. We've got embroidery. Now, an embroidery needle has a very sharp tip and about a medium oval eye, penetrating lots of dense area with your embroidery machines. You're sewing in a lot of compacted area, right? Then you've got your quilting needles. Now your quilting needles have a little bit more of a rounded, not quite as sharp of a tip, and a larger eye. Sometimes that larger eye will actually cause some skip stitches because the thread's riding the top of the eye of the needle. And your top stitch needle is your biggest eye and your bluntest tip. Now the top stitch needle is really designed for your cool decorative threads so that you can be sliding those big threads in and out of the eye of that needle over and over again without shredding the thread, right? But often it's a very large eye if you're doing free motion machine quilting. Now the two needles I actually do most of my quilting with are none of the three I just mentioned, but I use denim needles and sharps needles with my free motion quilting actually, and let me explain why. The denim needle has a very aggressive tip and a very strong eye because it's meant for going through denims and twills and canvas. And when I'm machine quilting through my fusible web, that density really pounds on the eye of the needle, wearing out the eye quickly. So one of my tricks is using a denim needle when fusible, like batik applique is involved. That's a nice trick to have out there. And then the other needle, my personal favorite, is a sharps needle. Now a sharps needle has got a crazy aggressive tip. It's like a Patriot missile. It was designed to go through silk and taffeta without catching a thread or snagging, so it penetrates quickly, but then it also has a very small eye. And that small eye allows less movement of your thread, and I also do a lot of fine cotton thread and polyester threads when I'm sewing, so that's why the sharps needle works well for me. Most importantly though, I just want you to understand the different variety of needles and understand that a specific project could really require a specific needle, and just changing that needle for the job is so important. It'll make a world of difference. And do not forget, you should be changing your needle almost every 10 full hours of sewing, and I always start a new project with a new needle. So I'm hoping that quick tip got you right between the eye of the needle here at Mansewing.